Morning, Trainiacs. The other day, I announced the biggest Roka giveaway we have ever done. Well, it's the only Roka giveaway we've ever done, but it's the biggest giveaway we've ever done. I announced it on Instagram, and to celebrate that, I also said, hey, what are your swim questions? What is your boggle with swimming? So I'm gonna tell you about the Roka giveaway, and we're gonna do a really big swim in a bunch of Roka gear, and we're gonna answer all those questions. Just lots of things happening today. Let's do it. Okie dokie, Smokies. So, if you did not see... If you didn't see it on Instagram, you're gonna see it now. If you go to roka.com/Taren, it's the biggest giveaway I've ever been a part of. It's over $2,000 in prizes. It's only up, well, it's a long-running giveaway because we think we're gonna have a lot of people wanting to enter and we don't want to miss anyone. So if you go to roka.com/Taren, you'll see the prizes. First prize, Roka wetsuit and an entry to the Ironman race of your choice. Second prize, sunnies and a transition backpack. Third prize, floaty pants and goggles. I like everything Roka does. So go check it out, roka.com/Taren. And to celebrate that, I figured, hey, why not actually answer a whole bunch of people's questions? And I went through what are the ones that I would say are common, but also things that I don't necessarily talk about all the time. So, first off, when is the right time and how to incorporate the use of a snorkel and a nose clip? Snorkel, all the time. Very key piece of equipment in your swim bag, probably one of, if not the most important. Nose clip, 100% not. One of the key things that causes people to feel out of breath swimming is having a buildup of carbon dioxide in their lungs. So why would we limit ways that we can get that carbon dioxide out of our nose and our mouth? Why people end up feeling like they need a nose clip is because water ends up shooting up there, and that's a result of them not having a constant breath out and pressure in kind of like this whole area of your face that keeps water out. For that, go follow me on Instagram, and here, there will be some video here. Look for that video, and that explains how to develop the ability to keep water out of your nose. Shouldn't be using a nose clip. How do you choose between sleeves or sleeveless suits? Funny you ask, considering it's all Roka all day. This is the Roka Maverick Pro X. It's a second generation Maverick that Roka invented. Now, what put Roka on the map was the original Maverick Pro, which was designed by two former Stanford swimmers because they were testing out wetsuits for their first race, and they were like, the shoulder mobility on these wetsuits is brutal. At which point they said, well, why don't we go sleeveless? And what they quickly found out is when you went to a sleeveless wetsuit, sure, they had the shoulder mobility that really only elite swimmers need, but they had that shoulder mobility to the detriment of their entire body warmth. When you have your armpits completely exposed in cold water, like so, basically just catching a bunch of cold water right there, essentially the wetsuit's warmth becomes completely null and void. So Roka invented the Roka Maverick Pro, which had some of the most supple, flexible shoulders that had ever been on a wetsuit, and it launched them into what they've turned into now. So all of these high-end wetsuits, or even this Roka Maverick Comp, which I use for a lot of my training swims, has way more shoulder flexibility than you will ever need. It then just comes down to a properly fitting suit that isn't too tight. So sleeveless wetsuits, not really a thing anymore. When pacing a 70.3 swim, what percentage of your 1,000 meter time trial do you recommend? It's all dependent. I'll give you a range. If you are really fit, we're talking somewhere around 90%. They should almost be the same. Like once you get to that 1,000 meter kind of pace, you should be able to hold that for a little while. But if you're not fairly fit, could be as low as 75. Like what you need to do is swim a lot, find a pace that's sustainable for you, and has a nice balance of sustainability plus being efficient for you. Because there's going to come a point in just about every swimmer's kind of effort level where more effort, it takes a lot out of you, but you really don't go any faster. So you want to find that balance, and you only get that by swimming. You talk a lot about zone 2. How do you apply to swimming? When you're in the water, the hydrostatic pressure from all of the water, it actually lowers your heart rate significantly. So much so that almost all swimming, unless just for like a short little burst of time in really hard efforts, is zone 2 swimming because it's low impact. And for example, I did a water run this morning and it was crazy intense for periods of time. Heart rate only went up to 135, right in my zone 2. To kick or not to kick? I get what you're saying. There is a lot out there about how triathlon swimmers really don't need to kick. The wetsuit makes you buoyant. There's all these nice videos online that are like, oh, you're just gonna burn up all the oxygen. Well, a lot of those are from ex-good swimmers who have the ability to make their core really nice and tight and bring their feet up to the surface of the water with a 1 or 2 beat kick. Try to do that effectively as an age grouper. Really damn tough. So what the kick allows you to do is get your heels up to the surface of the water, but what it isn't for is to propel you forward. As a triathlete who has stiff ankles from running and just not a history of kicking, we maybe only get 2 to 4% of our total propulsion from kicking, so we don't kick for the sake of kicking. We kick as lightly as we can possibly get away with while still keeping our heels at the surface of the water, allowing our body to be nice and tight and keeping our legs from sinking. Absolutely kick. How to prevent a stroke technique collapse after fatigue sets in. Don't let fatigue sets in. A lot of people give me crap on Instagram because they see me doing 4,000, 4,500, 4,600 yard swims. The goal of these is to make sure that you don't have fatigue setting in the race. You need to swim more. I'm sorry, but not sorry. How do I look straight and make sure I am on track without dropping the hips? So what Gianos is saying there is, how do I sight and not have my feet drop down? Well, a couple of things. When you sight, your feet are naturally going to drop down because your head is coming up, your bottom is going to go down. So what you want to do is increase the kick a little bit. Go back to, yes, we absolutely kick. You want to increase the kick a little bit when you go up to sight, and you want to practice this in the pool, not when you get into open water. So you have the body awareness and the timing to be able to sight, breathe, and while you're doing that, increase the kick, and it's just natural because you've done it hundreds and hundreds of times. How to keep the spine straight and body not snaking? See what I said earlier about the kick. Do you think it's worth swimming close to a partner to simulate race contact? 100%. I would actually recommend, I'm going to link to this at the end of this video, a video about how to prepare for the open water in the pool. Critical stuff. You want to start simulating everything that you're going to go through, from sighting to deck ups to a little bit of rubbins racing, all in the pool, so that when you get to open water, it doesn't freak you out. How do you breathe differently when in open water instead of the pool? See what I said about sighting. I'm trying to double up on things because a lot of these topics overlap. What is the best swim workout to do to build 70.3 endurance? Your next one. You need to swim more. There is no one workout. There is no one drill. There is no one technique that is going to solve all of your problems. There are basic principles that we talk about a lot here, but you have to work them into your training so that you can do them in the race. You have to look at what your race requires and what the challenges are going to be, and then you look at how you can train for that and the aspects that you can build into your training that accomplish that and get you ready for it. This is not complicated stuff here. Just takes knowing a little bit about how to do it and when to incorporate it into a season. Now, with all that said, make sure you go to roka.com/Taren, over $2,000 in fabulous prizes. And yeah, I'm jacked about this. I have loved Roka. They were the very first company that ever took a chance on doing any sort of partnership with me before this channel even happened. And I love their gear. Pumped up to get you some of it. All right? Later, Trainiacs. Oh, and there's the video about open water practice. Go check that out.